Everyone is born with three identities. The one that you're given when you're born, the one you earn during your lifetime on this earth, and the one you leave behind when you die. Hi everyone, I'm Jody Kolbee, and welcome to another session of What's Your Story? Today we're talking about avatars. Now, if you haven't really seen on Facebook yet, which I highly doubt you would not have come across, avatars are all the rage right now, and they've become quite trendy on platforms such as Facebook. The reality is that avatars have actually been around for a very, very long time. To be perfectly honest, they've been around for over 2 decades now. They were trending during the chat room era with Yahoo, MySpace, all of those types of platforms. And people have been using them to create identities and personalities for themselves on online portals. Now, what's interesting is that in the same way that we identify our personalities with avatars, is the same way that we try to identify our own brand personalities when it comes to our personal branding. We choose the way we look, the way people react to it. All of the little idiosyncrasies that we want to add inside of there is basically the amount of investment we are willing to give inside of this image that we want to portray to society. And it got me to thinking, if people are casually investing this amount of time in creating a virtual identity on social media, why aren't they spending the same amount of time on their own personal branding, who they are as individuals, in what they do, what they say, and how much time they are spending on their goals and the things that they really want to achieve? So it dawned on me that the reason why people invest so much inside of these avatars is truly because they're not really happy with themselves. They are trying to create a virtual image of themselves to the rest of the world, which tells the story of who they want to be, how they want to be perceived. And in essence, that's all branding really is. It's telling the world that this is who you are, this is what you do, this is your story. And based on that, that's how the world's going to react with you, how they're going to engage with you, what they are going to invest in you. So today I want you to think really long and hard about how you create your avatar and what exactly happens to the personality, to the identity that that truly represents you, the one that you were born with, the one that you've created, the one that you want to leave behind. We've got to talk about what happens to the real you, the real essence of you that gets lost in the translation of all these different personalities, these different masks, these different faces that we wear. What happens to the real you? Essentially, what happens when you lose your avatar? So I got to thinking further around, with all of this bending, shaping, and reaffirming of who we actually are, what truly happens to who we are as people, as individuals, as how we identify with ourselves? What happens to that when we create all of these multiple personalities so that we can engage with different people, different cliques, different forms of society in different ways, so that we can fit in, so that we can be happier with ourselves? What happens to the real us? And we've got to think about that, because the same applies to our business brands, the same applies to our careers, the same applies to how we want clients to engage with us in our professional capacity. And this is something that people rarely think about. Now let's think about the creation of the avatar. Let's just think about that process right now. You've got to choose the color of the eyes. You've got to choose the shape of the face. You've got to choose the hair. You've got to choose the clothing on the body. And then here's the really fun bit. You get to choose all of the small micro accessories that make up who you are and how you want the world to identify you with. So, for example, do you want a nose ring? Do you want freckles? If your hair is brown, why not make your hair green for your avatar? Maybe it will add that extra depth of personality to your avatar so that people can engage with you differently. This is the exact same process that one has to go through when you're thinking about yourself as a brand personality. I'm not just Jody Kolbee. I'm not just the web designer, the business solution expert, the digital brand expert. I'm Jody Kolbee, the brand, the personality. That's who I am. That's how I want people to identify me as. So I've got to think about what I say, what I do, who I engage with, how I engage with them, so that the perception of who I am is exactly what I want the world to perceive me to be. Each and every decision you make on a day-to-day basis, who you engage with, because at the end of the day, the saying guilty by association still applies to brands. It still applies to companies. It still applies to professionals. So you've got to think about all of those things when you are building your avatar, aka your brand. And so I really want to challenge everyone out there today to really be fully immersed and aware in everything that you do, all of the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. And for the long term, think about who you want to be, who you want the world to perceive you to be, because all of those things are going to determine how the world engages with you and what you leave behind. You've got to think about what you're investing in. And so every decision you make, how you make those decisions and how they affect the world around you is going to shape that avatar. And it's going to shape each and every micro idiosyncrasy of what makes up all the portions of you. The way you speak, how you engage, who you choose not to engage with, all of those things is going to make up an avatar. So that's my little story today. I hope that this has been of value to you and that you do, in fact, take some time to consider how you want to build up your brand personality. If you have any challenges with this, chat to me. You can email me at hello@jodykolbee.co.za. I'd be happy to engage with you to figure out what your next move is, how you can create a brand that is both engaging, that is approachable, that sets a tone so that people can really engage with you in the way that you want them to engage. So chat to me. I'm always happy to hear your narrative, your story. And that's another little session of What's Your Story. I look forward to chatting to you next week in next week's podcast. Have a great day, have a productive week, and remember to be the narrator of your own story. Bye.